What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's Battles. Today we've got some more Total War Warhammer 2 Queen and the Crone 1 vs 1 multiplayer action for you. So we're in the quick battles and we have taken the Skaven and we're up against the High Elves. So let's go ahead and leave this thing rolling. This is a little bit of a longer match. You see some shots already getting taken by these warp lightning cannons, so I'm going to get through these units kind of quickly. So right off the bat, because we're up against the High Elves, we've got 2 warp lightning cannons. I figured I could use them to hit any big units, maybe any dragons, any sort of dragon princes, cavalry, anything like that. Use these units to target them, and then just force the opponents to come to me. Now, because the High Elves typically have a lot of elite units, you can see here they've actually got 1,100 units, which is very atypical. But we do have a lot of units as well. You can see here in the front, we've got the 2 Skaven Slave Spears. These guys are just here to absorb any hits, just to kind of, maybe catch some fire at will archers or something like that. We've got a big fat line here. Now, if you look here, this is all clan rats with shields and clan rats with spears with shields. So these guys are up here. They've got that melee defense, and they're going to be holding the line. You can see here 36 melee defense for those clan rat spears. And so right behind them, we've actually got these 2 groups of Skaven Slave Slingers. Now, while these guys do almost no missile damage, they each have 1 armor piercing. And since there's 105 of them, they can actually do some pretty good focus fire over time if they're left alone. And since they're so cheap, the opponent has to either attack them or leave them to attack his unshielded units. We've also got 2 groups of Death Runners here. Now, I've been trying to bring these guys in there a little bit, show everyone how they work there with that Weeping Blade. Minus 50% armor can be huge against some of those elite armored troops. I mean, even the White Lions of Chrace, you can see here, have 90. Some of those, if he had brought maybe some Phoenix Guard or something like that, the Silver Helms even have 90 armor. So everyone's got a ton of armor on the High Elves pretty much, where all the elite troops do. So we wanted to bring them. We've also got some Stormvermin here with sword and shield, and on each side for their 44 melee defense, and they have okay attack with 36. But it's the halberds here in the middle which will do the anti-large. And they should be all right too. So we do have Lord Skrolk. We've also got Warlock Engineer. Lord Skrolk doesn't have too much going for him. Okay, I'm lying. He's got Liber Bonicus, Erotica Corruption, Standard Ground. He's going to be using Vermintide to summon those clan rats, as well as Wither to reduce armor. That's pretty much it. He does reduce the melee attack for those around him. Nothing too crazy. No, not too many spells. You can see also with this Warlock Engineer, of course, we've brought the Warpstone armor. We've brought Warp Lightning, and we've brought Howling Warp Gale, which isn't going to have too much of an effect in this match. Although I think Alarielle over here, nope, she's on her steed. So yeah, Howling Warp Gale was wasted, but I did want to have it. I was going to use it to trap a dragon and blast it with 2 Warp Lightning Cannons. So now for my High Elf opponent, you can see he does have some Silver Helms over here on the flanks. He's got another group. Let's see, where'd they go? They're over here. There's 2 groups over here on the right. I think there's one final group that's a little bit farther back somewhere. There they are, I think, right, or maybe over here by Alarielle. So yeah, they were taking some shots, but we do have Alarielle the Radiant, and you can see she's got all the healing spells that she could possibly bring, Shield of Saffrey and all that. Let's see here. We've got Star of Avalorn. We've got the Staff of Avalorn. We've got the Arcane Forging, the Earthblood. So actually, no. So not as much of the healing, but we definitely do have some good damage. And that should be able to, not do as well against the Skaven, who don't have a lot of those high value troops to cast it on, but we'll do all right. So you can see here across the front, we've got the White Lions of Chrace. We've got some spearmen. They've got a few ranks in them, but you can see that, those spearmen, they're not, they do have 53 melee defense, but they're not going to be doing too much attack damage. And these White Lions of Chrace, they're not that great on defense either. They're not the elite troops. They've got a lot of armor piercing, which is not going to be super effective against a lot of the Skaven troops, but they will do good against the Stormvermin. So you can see there, we've also got some of these spearmen. just mixed in with the White Lions, and then my opponent has the regular archers there. No shields or anything crazy, which makes sense, but he has 5 groups of those. So those archers, I mean, that is a ton of troops for a high elf. He was really trying to go wide, and I'm hoping to be able to kill all of those troops because I was trying to kill elite troops. But at the same time, we're going to go ahead and send our Death Runners out to the flanks. We'll go ahead and use this group over here to chase. We're going to try to get a few shots off here with the Warp Lightning Cannon. And you can hear the Skaven there. Oh, there goes some hits, and boom! But a couple of them missing. And here we go. Those Death Runners get in there. They had Concealment Bomb going on, so those Silver Helms are going to get caught. You see they're already down to 15 armor, and then we're going to get some shots coming in here from these Skaven Slave Slingers, and that'll cut these guys down pretty quickly. You see they're a big hit coming in, and those Silver Helms have got to get out of the way. Let's take a look at this main part of the battle. As you can see, the High Elves are starting to fully engage. And over here on the right, we've actually caught them as well with this group of Death Runners. Now, this group of Death Runners probably won't do as well since there are 2 groups of Silver Helms. You can see here, armor on these Silver Helms is down, with shields is down to 45. These 2 groups have shields. I guess the ones over there on the left didn't. That may have been why their armor was so low. But at the same time, you know, it's all right. We've got these guys stuck. They're going to go ahead and come through. They're going to try to get in, but we're going to catch them. We've got some Clan Rats with shields all along the front here. The Skaven Slave Spears have kind of held up my opponents, and I'm going to go ahead and countercharge them, start getting these Clan Rats with spears and shields in to try to hold up his units. At the same time, we're going to just keep these Skaven Slave Slingers firing in there. While they may not always be effective, I always want them firing. I want to keep these Warp Lightning Cannons safe. You can see we're moving this one back a little bit to stop taking fire from the archers. And these Sword Vermin are still here just to block these Silver Helms if at all possible. We've got some more Halberds. We're chasing this group of Silver Helms. You can see there. They're broken as they shatter off. But there is a lot going on, so we were able to kind of stop most of the Silver Elms from circling around, but you can see here a big charge is going to be coming in. Let's see if you can see. It is just going to be sending the rats flying. Oh my god, but those are just Skaven Slave Slingers, so not a big problem. But they are going to get here into my Warp Lightning Cannon as well. You can see them just smashing everywhere. They're flying rats galore, and they're having a blast. But you know, we're also keeping these Storm Vermin with halberds close, and so if those Silver Helms stop it for any period of time, they're going to get taken down. Now, if you look over here on the left, this actually Warp Lightning Cannon was finally taken down. You can see a bunch of archers shooting in at it, but these Silver Helms are going to go down with it. They're completely surrounded now by those Storm Vermin, and that'll be it for the group without shields. But there is still a lot going on. There is all of this full group of Silver Helms with shields, and let's take a look. Hold on at the front line here. You can see that actually a lot of these spearmen are starting to go down, but in the back here we are getting those Clan Rats with shields and spears. We are getting them on top of the archers. So as long as we were using these Clan Rats with spears to chase off the archers, they're not able to shoot. While we may not kill them, we'll keep them from killing us as we continue to try to win this front line engagement. Over here on the right, you can see these Death Runners are finally routing off. But the Spearmen, a bunch of these units do have that debuff on their armor. You can see it floating on their unit cards there. And at the same time, in come those Silver Helms, and they're going to destroy my Clan Rats with shields. So it is just neck and neck. If you look up here, the balance of power is just right down the middle, but a lot of our expensive units remain, so we're doing okay. And, you know, but so is he. He's killed some of our Skaven Slaves, but here in the back, you can see the big shot coming down, and down goes Alarielle. So that was the important part. Alarielle was there in the middle. We were able to get those, for a short time, get those Warp Lightning Cannons to target her, and now that is going to start causing some problems, because here in the middle, Lord Skrolk is only down to about half health, and while he is surrounded by infantry, he is not, you know, he is not going to have too much trouble. You can see here he's summoning a few more Clan Rats that are going to come here into the mix. They're going to surround these White Lions of Chrace, which are going to bring their leadership way down, getting hit from the back, and also reduce their combat stats. So you can see here just these Spearmen, these White Lions getting surrounded, one group breaking off, and that leadership penalty from the loss of their legendary lord is really, I think, going to start to cause them problems here in the end. Here in the main fight, you can see here that the Warlock Engineer is surrounded by White Lions and Spearmen, which is good for him because he will be just slowly draining the health off those units with that Warp Shard armor. Over here on the left, you can see these Skaven Slave Slingers are still firing away, and now they're starting to get shots off of these archers. So slowly but surely, they'll begin to take those archers down, and for their cost, they're actually pretty helpful. Here you can see these Stormvermin with shields, sword and shields. They're going to have no problem. You can see them just charging in here. They're going to mop up these Spearmen. Even though they've got, 41 melee defense there, those Stormvermin should take them out, no problem. We've also got this group of Silver Helms coming in trying to counter us, but we're going to immediately turn the Stormvermin to them, and we will take them down as well. You can see there that their leadership starts to drop as they engage these Stormvermin, and we're just going to keep these guys moving. Next, we're going to be trying to get them right in here on top. You see we're charging into those Silver Helms, try to keep them from counter-charging us, but there is just battling going on all over the field. You can see here we have some Clan Rats with spears that are going to come back in. Here's going to be the main fight going on here. We've got Lord Skrolk here, and we are just getting surrounded by Spearmen and White Lions at this point. So all of these units you can see from everywhere are all starting to come in. I'm starting to bring my units together. I want to make sure and use the leadership that I have with my my legendary lord and my hero still being alive. And so you see Lord Skrolk and the Warlock Engineer right next to each other, providing a leadership boost, keeping these Stormvermin and these Clan Rats in line, as well as whenever I can, trying to get a summon off and bring a few more rats into the fray. So you can see here the Skaven Slave Slingers now are chasing after the Silver Helms. All of these Stormvermin are engaged right up against these archers, and they will, once they're done with these a few Silver Helms that are, I think they're caught on here, we're going to go ahead and try to surround and just catch every unit we can. And you see here, I think there's a few, maybe one more summon to be had, but it is just coming down to the wire. This is just a nasty battle, and those Silver Helms have been all over the place. You can see them charging in here, but those Skaven Slave Slingers are already on attack move. The Stormvermin are kind of mixed in here, and so they've got to get away quickly. They're going to charge into the back of these Clan Rat Spears. Let's just go ahead and slow it down for a second so we can see what's going on. You can see there's a few of these Spearmen and these Silver Helms in the back that are going to be coming back. You can see we've got a lot of archers here, but they're pretty low on armor. Or ammo, sorry, and they're low on armor. And we've also got just healthy lords still. Even though Lord Skrolk is down to 1200 health, that is still plenty of health remaining, and he still has a lot of fight left in him. You see the White Lions kind of broken off and exhausted here, getting chased by some Clan Rat Spears. We've got another Clan Rats with shields going to go ahead and try to head off this group of White Lions. And here in the back, all of these broken units are fighting more Skaven Slave, Stormvermin with halberds mixed in there, and so those slaves will take some hits for the halberds, and that'll help them last just a little bit longer. There's some pretty, so there's a few, I think 38 models left of these White Lions that are coming, get a charge on these Skaven Slave Spears, and that'll break them off, but the Stormvermin with halberds should remain, still fighting it out. While we take the rest of that archer fire. So you can see here they've kind of got a concave where we're stuck in the middle. You can see all of those arrows just raining in on top of my poor Stormvermin, but luckily these ones do have shields. So if I can, face the right direction, I'll at least block some of those shots. Same time, Lord Skrolk and the Warlock Engineer doing all right. As you can see, these White Lions of Chrace, as soon as they charge in, we're going to lose some. They're going to start to lose some health from that Warp Shard armor. And that is exactly what we want. What we want is to just try to block up as much of this arrow fire as we can. And you can see that we are a little bit ahead. So these Clan Rats with spears are pretty full over here. There's a group in here that are chasing some units off. You can see here that the Stormvermin with halberds are finally shattered, or actually broken, sorry, by these Silver Helms. But without a Lord, it is just surprising that the High Elves are still alive. I guess it's just the sheer amount of units they have remaining. Still have 352 to my, or 396 to my 352. So you can see that the archers, though, are finally pretty much out of ammo, and they weren't able to do it. The charge of Lord Skrolk right into those Silver Helms. You can see the Warlock Engineer go flying by. Oh, that is amazing. But those Silver Helms were shattered, actually, by Lord Skrolk there. He was doing all right. You can see the Warlock Engineer still alive, even though he's shaken. And everything he charges into, I think, is going to break at this point. So you see there, the Spearmen down to 19, Lord Skrolk and the Warlock Engineer still fighting. We've got a few units, I think, on the periphery here. Some clan rats that can come back in, but it is not looking too good for us. At the same time, the fact that they lost Alarielle to those Warp Lightning Cannons so early, it was seriously like 2 volleys. I know I didn't get to show it, but it was pretty awesome. And yeah, so that is, I think, what it's going to boil down to. You see, there's only a few seconds left. The balance of power is pretty much in my favor. These archers have no more ammo remaining, and they're not going to be able to fight me in melee. And after summoning these clan rats, you can see they're going to hop on top of these archers, and that's pretty much going to be it. All of these archers and white lions, which got into melee, range, they're finally routing off. Here we've got a group of archers. We've cast the Liber Bubonicus. It's finally ready. And you see, I think we get one more Warp Lightning off that is just going to pretty much blast my own group of clan rats. But at that point, I think that was the end of it. My opponent's units had, I mean, just the sheer power to stay on that long was amazing. But I want to say great game to my opponent, Loki. That was a lot of fun. If I hadn't sniped out Alarielle, I'm pretty sure I would have lost that one. But overall, I mean, I think that made my Warp Lightning Cannons worthwhile. You see, we actually got a chevron on the one that was just blasting her right in the face. We were also able to use the Warp Lightning Cannon to get a few kills. I mean, we got some shots on some Silver Helms. I mean, the ones with shields had a lot better survivability than the just the regular. I think, was there one group of Silver Helms? I'm not sure. But either way, it was just a great battle all around. I mean, he was able to protect all those archers. You can see they have just 70, 64, 48, 83. I mean, just huge amounts of kills. They were able to kill a bunch of Skaven slaves. But all of those shields in the front were able to block up those archers. So all those shields soaked up that arrow fire. So at the end of the day, we still had the Warlock Engineer and Lord Skrolk around to just constantly drain health with that Mortis Engine effect, as well as summoning clan rats, and it was just, it worked out really, really well. Those Death Runners, while they were able to get out there on the flanks, I think for their cost, they weren't as effective in this battle, but I really wanted to use them against some more elite troops that just they really didn't have. At the same time, 44 kills, 20 kills, they got out there on the flanks, they did, they reduced some armor, and they did their part. Although I think that is probably money that would have been better well spent. It does pay to keep your army to be pretty adaptable. If he had some more elite troops, I think we would use the Howling Warp Gale and maybe tried to hold them down, and then when they landed, use the Death Runners. But I mean, overall, it was just a massive battle versus massive troops on both sides. I mean, look at this: 120 kills, 150 kills on these white lines, 279 on this group of Silver Helms. I mean, this group, once he was down to like one group, he was just keeping this group alive, and they were all over the place, just causing havoc. So I think if he had maybe just a hero or something, he probably would have pulled out the victory. But overall, it was a great game. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching, for keeping up with the channel, commenting, just for being a part of this whole process. I want to thank you guys again for watching. This has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.